did I do that? Dr. Wenstrup.
That's all right.
Sorry, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for being here today. And I may be redundant on something here, but I just want to run it by you real quick when it comes to reopening Section 301. My concern is that when we have things that are not a threat to our national security and do no harm to our healthcare system, whatever, we're going to be open to let businesses make their case to import some of those types of products from China.
So thank you, Dr. Wenstrup. I think probably specifically what you're referencing are exclusions programs.
Correct.
Yes. No, we recognize that exclusions programs are particularly important in transitioning from a situation where we have created and are living in vulnerabilities with respect to suppliers to getting us to a place where we are less vulnerable and have more diversified opportunities. So I hear you in terms of the importance of exclusions and their role in the transition that we are making as an economy.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about things that do not engage with our national security. But in that, national health security in particular, I want to talk to you about that because I am concerned about the vulnerability of our supply chain for products critical to our national health security, such as, PPE, generic drugs. If I had known when I served in Iraq as a surgeon that my protective equipment and my medications relied on an adversary, I'm wondering, how did our military get here, but how do we as a country get here? Because it's a threat to all of us, not just our military. So I know you understand that situation. So I'll really just get right to the question. What actions can you take as a U.S. trade rep to help protect Americans and American patients from predatory foreign medical supply manufacturers? I mean, I look at things, it was about 15 years ago, we had 250 Americans die from tainted heparin coming from China. We don't really have the oversight that we would have here. And so but it's not just what can you do as U.S. trade representative, what can you suggest that we do to help secure our supply chain in that region, in that particular topic with medications?
Dr. Wenstrup, extremely important issue, and you're right, trade has an important role to play here, USTR in particular. Obviously, we're not the only ones to the point about tainted heparin. The abilities of our regulators and safety regulators especially come into play. But I wanted to highlight for you and the members of this committee that just about a month ago, USTR published a Federal Register notice. It's a call for public participation. We are looking for robust engagement from your constituents, from across the American economy, from other economies as well, to help us to share their wisdom with us and how they've navigated all the changes in the global economy and all the challenges with the supply chains to survive and also to create resilience. And of the almost 12 sectors that we've identified as being of special interest to us this year, the medical supply chain, API, PPE are right there at the center. What we are hoping will happen over the course of the solicitation for public comment, a series of public hearings, engagement, formal and informal, is to find out from those who are in the supply chain, who do produce, what drives their decisions around production, around contracting for supply. If they're trying to revive and rebuild manufacturing here, what's going to be important incentives for that? Mm-hmm. How, if we facilitate that, we can prevent offshoring back again? And then how do we make use of the concepts of friendshoring and nearshoring? My desire is to have results of this exercise be informative, not just for USTR, but for this committee as well, to think about what we can do with it.
I'm tracking with you, but we operate so much in silos here. And would you be okay if we held a round table and we had those key players all at the table with you, with us, and we really talk through all these things, and not necessarily just with 5-minute sound bites, that we actually do that. I mean, this is a serious, dangerous problem that we have to address, and we have to use all of our assets to be able to do better. I mean, Mark Cuban started his own generic company, and for some people, you can get your prescription filled for less than your copay, because he just marks it up 15%. Well, he has the wherewithal to do that, but he's also concerned that he doesn't have the APIs to actually make all these medications free of adversaries. And so I think those are things we need to discuss more openly and bring in sort of a whole of government and whole of the private sector. So if you're up for it, I wouldn't mind organizing a roundtable in that regard.
Dr. Wenstrup, I'd be delighted to do that with you.
Thank you. Yield back.